Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yeah, whatever. Ben Reilly, Spider-Man's clone. He's the guy. He's got a sweatshirt. Yeah, that's how you know he's different, and he's a blonde hair.
Hello and welcome back. That's right. I told you it's only going to be 2 weeks. Time for another Scarlet Spider Sausage Fest. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, the Pimp Master General himself. It is.
Hello, everybody. Yes, Ray back for more delicious Scarlet Spider with, of course, Phil. Interesting issues, Phil. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's the 90s. They're all interesting.
Some better than others. Let's just say that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, we only got 3 this time to round out the year. This will be the last Scarlet Spider of the year.
Yeah. Goodbye, 2021 after this. Jeez.
Yeah, because we got the movie review. Lilith and I got Thwippies coming up.
Mm.
Oh, hello, Russell. Is that you, Russell?
Oh, is that Russell?
I don't know. Is that the hard master? There he is, the hard master.
It's
the hard master.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams.
Sex on the mind.
Yeah.
It's me. Oh, didn't get enough of me, Russell, after our 3-hour Tomes of Evil last night.
Oh, let me guess. I think that popped. Was that a Megatron?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, it deserves 3 hours. I wouldn't expect nothing less, really. So it's not enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you even made some cameos, Ray.
The hard master.
Ah, bloody hell.
Perhaps I'm the Zodiac. Oh,
could well be.
Is that a reference to the newest issue of Moon Knight?
Did you guys review it?
Charlie and I talked it real quick. It was pretty good.
And super connectivity. Yeah. I've been catching up on your episodes, so a little behind. The last the Disney Plus teasers one. So I think that's the latest one. Very good. Anyway.
Oh yeah. All right. And kids, if you're interested in Ben Reilly, just go to our Patreon. I just talked to Mr. JMD Mateus.
Yeah.
He talks the upcoming Ben Reilly Spider-Man series in January. He talks about The Child Within. He talks some Justice League. He talked it all. I mean, the man loves what he does.
Yeah, he's very good. I paid him another compliment on Twitter. Well, kind of thereabouts. Just because this month November we released a bonus episode for our Patreon members, and it just so happened to be penned by JMD Mateus. So I had to call that out on Twitter, and he liked it.
Oh, you liked me? You. Okay, I'll like that.
That's it.
All right. So should we get to these issues?
Queen
Goblin. What are you talking about, Russell? And we'll counter her.
I'm still waiting for Ben Reilly to bump into the Black Cat.
Oh,
so, again. I mean, yeah.
True.
Actually, that's quite apt because we will see a bit of that in these issues.
Oh, yeah.
One issue, yeah.
Oh, we get some ladies in this issue. Because we're starting with Spider-Man 64 from January 1996, The Game of Life. Writer, our buddy Howard Mackey. Penciler, John Romita Jr. Inkers Al Williamson, Dick Giordano, and Al Milgram. Colorists Kevin Tinsley and Malibu Color. Letterer Richard Starking's Comic Craft, and editor Eric Fain.
Phil, before you get into the synopsis, I just want to get your thoughts on that opening image of Ben Reilly and the little kid. Now, I just draw your attention to how JR has drawn the little kid. What are your thoughts there?
It's interesting. Yeah, it struck me. I remember the first time I saw this. Why? What was your first impression?
It's like a fully grown man face with really little legs. Yeah. Anyway, I think maybe it's a bit unfair to say, but John Romita Jr. In this later style, I don't think he can draw kids that well.
Oh.
Anyway, hot take.
I mean, it is kind of hard. It seems like some artists, it's almost like they draw. Yeah, it's almost like they're drawing miniature adults. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So at the
Sorry, JR. Sorry, Phil.
At the scene of an apartment fire, Spider-Man performs CPR on a young boy who has stopped breathing. To his relief, the wall crawler gets the boy breathing again, and he is rushed off the scene by paramedics. That's when Spider-Man is approached by members of the media who begin to ask him if the original Spider-Man or another if he is the original Spider-Man or another individual, and if he has any connections to the Scarlet Spider. The wall crawler ignores their questions, hearing the young boy plead for someone to rescue his mother, who is still trapped in the burning building. Although firefighters don't have much hope that a woman could survive in the inferno. Although the boy pleads with the wall crawler to help rescue his mother, Spider-Man wishes he could, as no child should lose their parents. Once the ambulance is out of sight, it is attacked by the mercenary known as El Toro Negro. Remember him? Who has come for the child. Back at the scene. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just wondering, I wonder what happened to Joystick, the other player.
Oh, she'll be back.
Yeah, unfortunate name. But anyway, yeah.
Unfortunate name. Back at the scene of the fire, Spider-Man continues to ignore the reporters so he can web up falling debris. That's when everyone notices a woman fly out of the building. Although her clothes are tattered, she appears to be unharmed by the flames. She calls out to her son, Carlos, who is the boy taken away in the ambulance. The woman suddenly collapses to the ground, prompting Spider-Man to rush to her side. The woman, named Poison, recognizes the wall crawler and begins telling him that the fire was intentionally set and the person responsible was dangerous. When Spider-Man tells her that she needs to calm down and get to a hospital, she becomes upset. The web slinger attempts to calm her are interrupted by the reporters who are still trying to interview him. Fed up with the constant questions, Spider-Man webs up their cameras and microphones, then promises Poison that he will find her son. Later, Ben Reilly reports for work at the Daily Grind, where he takes interest in news reports about Poison. Between the news reports and buzz, the Grind's ever-present regular, Ben learns about Poison's career as a vigilante taking down drug cartels in Miami. However, Reilly is disturbed to learn that there is no report about the boy that Spider-Man rescued. Elsewhere, a wealthy man named Paris Scott watches the news. He is a participant in the Great Game, and the news about Poison greatly interests him. While at this moment, Mysterio disguised as Randolph Hines has just finished purchasing a television transmitter that will finally allow him to achieve his dreams, as well as finally end the life of Spider-Man. That is his dream, isn't it?
It's always been, I would have thought.
Later, Ben Reilly has finished his shift at the Daily Grind and is signing the lease on his new apartment. When his landlord comes back to give him his security key, Ben has somehow left his apartment without her seeing. This is because Ben changed into Spider-Man and left out the window to begin his search for Poison's son, Carlos. His first stop is the hospital to tell the woman what happened to her son. She instantly becomes angry that Spider-Man failed to protect her son. He learns from the nurses that the boy never arrived at the hospital and tells him to leave while the sedate poison is as they sedate Poison as his presence is agitating her. An hour later, Poison is visited by a great game representative named Trenton Limpton III. He has come to give her a new costume. And the rules of the great game. Rules she will have to follow if she wants to get her son back. When Spider-Man returns later, Poison is out of bed and wearing her new costume. As he tries to get her to explain what's going on, she calls El Toro Negro to learn where she can recover her son. Hearing El Toro's name, the wall crawler warns her that the mercenary cannot be trusted, but she doesn't want to listen to him and flies away. When Poison flies off, Spider-Man decides to follow her after her to make sure she doesn't get in over her head. Soon, Poison forces her way into the warehouse where she is supposed to meet El Toro Negro. There she demands that he return her son. However, the villain reveals that he has Carlos strapped with explosives. In his hands, El Toro Negro is holding a dead man switch that will set off the bombs if anything happens to him. He then demands that she call Paris Scott and tell him that she is resigning from the great game and that Negro will take her place as Scott's champion. Poison agrees, using the provided phone to tell Scott that she will not participate. That's when Spider-Man comes crashing into the warehouse, warning Poison not to trust El Toro Negro. Annoyed by the wall crawler's interference and reminded of how a similar individual led to his arrest, remember that was Ben as the Scarlet Spider, he orders Poison to kill Spider-Man in order to get her son back. Desperate to get her boy back, Poison attacks Spider-Man, who is caught off guard by her strength and speed. However, she tries to strangle the web slinger to death. Carlos cries out to his mother to stop, telling her that Spider-Man saved his life the night before. This causes Poison to pause, but El Toro Negro reminds her that he will kill her son if she doesn't comply. Everything now she has been given powers by an alien force. She uses the energies within her body to seemingly incinerate Spider-Man. However, this is all a ruse as she actually teleports the web head close enough to web up the detonator. While Spider-Man knocks out El Toro Negro, Poison frees her son from the explosives. With El Toro Negro webbed up for the authorities, Poison thanks Spider-Man for his help. When Spider-Man asks if there's anything he can do to help Poison and her son set themselves up in New York City, she tells him that he has already done enough and will now live by his example.
A very, I think a nice, compact story. I actually enjoyed this. It was really funny though. Like, okay, take away the whole premise and the whole plot of the issue. That beginning, like with Spider-Man saving the kid, and then the kid saying, "Oh, my mum's in there." That actually was very impactful. You know what I mean? I think it would have been more so if the mum wasn't poisoned, if it was just like a normal, family. Because like I was like, whoa, this is heavy pretty quickly. Like Ben Reilly saying, "Oh, sorry, kid, I can't help your mum," and the kid's gone away in the ambulance. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. In hindsight, the way it fits in with the rest of the story, it may have come in quite heavy, like a bit too heavy than it needed to. But I mean, Howard Mackie, I think this story was fun. Like it wasn't too complicated. It was a simple look, two people part of the game. One of them's taken the other's kid as hostage, and Ben Reilly's in between. I enjoyed the fight scenes. If anything, though, do you know more about Poison, Phil? Because
she showed up in like her only other appearance was the Spider-Man annual number 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in Miami. I think I'm trying to remember. I only read it once a while ago. That's
okay.
where the powers, I think, and
okay, because it's just the end bit where she kind of emits all that radiation or energy. And it's a pretty subtle thing to. I mean, she must have a masterful control of her power to make it look like it's a explosive thing, but she actually teleports him. Like, what can't she do? With these energy things. Like, she's strong, she flies. She's got energy manipulation, but she can also teleport people.
Yeah, again, I don't know if they ever got too specific with it, but yeah, I mean, it was like an alien and it inhabited her body and then it left, but yeah, left her some power.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't like introduce her more because yeah, it was Peter she originally met, so this was Ben's
Right.
first meeting her.
Yeah. But what did you think of the issue as well? I thought the art was great, despite what I said at the beginning. But yeah, I mean, what did you make of it?
No, I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was a good issue. Setting up more of that great game and Ben getting his apartment and diving out the window.
Yeah, so it sets up a few little things, like that. He's finally got his own. I can't remember where he was before, but he's found another apartment. He's earning a crust and all that at the daily grind, so that's good. You get a little bit more of the locals at the daily grind again. That guy with a ponytail, and yeah, and the son of the owner. So that was cool. Yeah, no, it was, and as you said, like with the game El Toro Negro, you saw him from last time, so he's kind of semi-familiar, only within the Ben Reilly stories. But yeah, I thought it was just a really nice, solid one and done. I mean,
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This one gets even weirder. Spectacular Spider-Man number 230 from January 1996. Brothers Keeper, writer Todd DeZago, penciler Sal Buscema. So someone's getting right across the room. Oh my God, we talked about him with DeMatteis too. DeMatteis like, oh my God, he's so great.
He loves him, yeah, doesn't he? Yeah.
He even mentioned like the punch. I was like, yeah.
Oh really? It's guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed you'll get one. It's really funny. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Inker Jimmy Palmiotti, colorist John Calise, and Malibu Color, letterer Clem Robbins, and editor Eric Feen. David and Henry Callan, brothers and environmental consultants, are on the outskirts of Greenlawn, Long Island, leaving the Sanders Chemical Corporation's main processing plant. Their investigation has discovered that the owner of the company has been operating in violation of new environmental standards, and Henry figures he can get them to shut down. That's when they pass by a small lake filled with barrels of toxic waste. Horrified by this brazen disregard for the environment, the two brothers stop for a closer look. Pulling one of the barrels out of the water, both David and Henry discover that it has been rigged with a bomb that suddenly goes off as the container is disturbed, cutting both men down in the blast. So talk about your dark beginnings.
Yeah.
Then it flashes to the present day. In Manhattan, Spider-Man is swinging across the city, feeling fully liberated now that he has reclaimed his costumed identity once again. After testing out his new patch of webbing, remember last time? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
He's like, at least this one isn't made out of like toothpaste and stuff.
Yeah,
like, not really, but kind of close.
Yeah, I like the editor's note there, because you don't want to have little kids mixing up their toothpaste and peanut butter to try and make webbing.
After testing this new webbing, a spider sense warns him of danger just as furniture is hurled through the windows of a nearby office building. Swinging into the building, Spider-Man is shocked to discover some kind of muck monster terrorizing the people inside the office. The creature, calling itself DK, yes, 2 letters, kids, is demanding that the people in the office produce their employer, Mr. Saunders. When the wall crawler tries to web up this monstrosity, his webbing dissolves harmlessly against its chemically based body. DK tells Spider-Man that he has no issue with the masked hero and then grabs the door jamb on the other side of the room. This causes a chemical reaction that makes the ceiling begin to melt. Fearing the harm this goop may cause the innocent people all around, Spider-Man begins webbing it back up to the ceiling, allowing DK to make his escape. Spider-Man is not looking forward to spending his day off hunting this monster. At that very moment at the daily grind, Shirley Washington is trying to talk to her son Devin about his chores and his homework assignments. But Devin is too focused on a television program that he doesn't hear a word that she is saying. Mysterio, anyone?
It's a bit odd.
Mhm. By this time, Spider-Man has learned that DK has attacked the corporate office of Saunders Chemical Corporation and learns that the owner of the company is at their main plant on Long Island. The wall crawler races there in the hopes that he can get there before the monstrosity that is after Saunders. Sure enough, Spider-Man gets there first and stakes the place out. He spots Saunders in one of the windows and notes that the business owner is pacing around nervously. He also can't help but notice how thick the air is with pollution. Although he figures that tight environmental regulations ensure that the company is running within acceptable levels. Suddenly, Spider-Man's spider sense kicks in and focuses in on a nondescript man walking through the main gate. This is not the creature he has been looking for, but he decides to move in to keep a closer eye on Saunders. From his new vantage point, Spider-Man witnesses as DK comes crashing into Saunders' office. As the muck monster closes in for revenge, Spider-Man leaps through the window and tries to tackle the abomination. Unfortunately, the wall crawler passes harmlessly through the goop that comprises DK's body. Once again, the monstrosity warns Spider-Man to stay out of its affairs. Making itself solid again, DK batters the wall crawler and then returns his attention to Saunders. He tells the corrupt business owner that he will pay for his crimes against humanity and nature. Afraid for his life, Saunders tries to strike the creature with a metal pipe, but it dissolves upon contact with DK's body. Hearing the commotion, the plant security force prepares to storm Saunders' office, but the steps leading up to it are suddenly dissolved. Back upstairs, DK finally has Saunders at his mercy, so the creature reverts to human form, revealing itself to be David Callan. Callan reveals that the bomb killed his brother, but turned him into something more. Pulling himself back together, David vowed to tear down the Saunders chemical empire. After confronting the killer, Saunders fired. Callan was able to gather a great deal of damaging evidence that proves Sanders hired the hit on David and his brother, as well as his illegal dumping operations. While David is explaining everything, Spider-Man pulls himself out of the rubble and ambushes David. Pulling the tortured man outside, the wall crawler webs him up to a flagpole. He tells Callan that the damning evidence is enough to put Saunders away for a long time, and he doesn't need to resort to murder. David, in tears, tells Spider-Man that it is not enough, telling the web slinger that Saunders is also responsible for the death of his brother, Henry. Spotting Saunders trying to make his escape, Spider-Man turns back into DK and slips through Spider-Man's webbing. However, when he tries to dissolve the getaway car with Saunders in it, Spider-Man swoops in and rescues DK's would-be victim. This infuriates the muck monster, who vows to kill Saunders even if he has to go through the wall crawler to do it, thinking that Callan won't kill an innocent man. Spider-Man calls his bluff and stands between the environmental horror and the crooked businessman. Although DK charges at Spider-Man, he quickly begins to lose his nerve and stops his charge, reverting back to human form. David agrees to do things Spider-Man's way, and soon Saunders is taken away by the police. After the crisis is over, Spider-Man then puts in a call to Ravencroft Institute. Soon, John Jameson and Edward Whalen arrive on the scene to pick up DK for treatment and to help him regain his lost humanity. All right, Ray, what do you think?
Yeah, look, again, I thought this was a nice little tale. It's a bit of a weird muck monster, as you said. But first off, Sal Buscema, he still draws an awesome Spider-Man. I mean, even looking at his work during Spectacular Spider-Man, it's come in leaps and bounds here. It's just, I don't know, he looks a lot more modern, just kind of bigger spider eyes, that sort of stuff. We got that left cross or the right cross again, as we alluded to. DK hitting Spider-Man and back he goes. So that's always fun to see that from Sal. Just working backwards, I felt the ending was a little clunky. I mean, it's a little bit of a trope about trusting that he won't harm an innocent. And he does get away with it. DK turns into his human self and doesn't kill Spidey. But I don't think there was enough build-up, or it wasn't apparent enough that he would. He's kind of conflicted and he wouldn't kill an innocent. I mean, he went on a bit of a rampage. He was destroying ceilings and building walls and stuff with people inside. That's going to cause massive destruction and that sort of thing. So I found that just a little clunky towards the end. But apart from it, I actually, just enjoyed it. DK is definitely amongst the likes of Night and Fog, Phil. Those sorts of villains. I don't think we'll ever see David Cullen again. You never know. Have you seen him again, Phil?
He shows up, I think, one more time. It's after the Clone Saga, so it's Peter, but it's like right after the Clone Saga.
Oh, okay.
So one more time, yeah.
He's pretty cool. I mean, I like his power. His power set's quite cool. I mean, the fact when Ben shot webbing at him straight away and they just dissolved on him, I thought that was a really cool trick. And then just basically stuff like the staircase, the car just turning into ooze. I'd love to see him and Carrion kind of have a fight. I want to see who has or even Styx. Is it Styx from Six and Stone?
Yeah,
I'd love to see those three have a fight. So it was okay. What did you think about this?
I agree with you. I mean, I love the Sow art, especially like in the beginning when Spider-Man's like swinging around. Yeah, really good stuff. I agree with you on all the story points, and it's like, oh, what's your your new name? Oh, call me by my initials.
Yeah, DK. That was at first. Initially, I was kind of like, that is such a crap name, and it is still kind of. But then the double entendre of, is that the what role with for Decay? So that was pretty cool. Yeah. But DK, like, might as well call you what you feel P squared and me RG. That's not exactly a name, so yeah. But no, it was enjoyable. I mean, let's just say that these two issues, first two, were my favorite of the three.
Oh yeah. All right. I know it'll be hard to get to that last one, Ray, but do you want to get to that last one?
Yeah, for sure.
An oversized Spider-Man Unlimited,
Yeah, I'm really interested to get your thoughts on this last one, just because. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts, RG.
Yeah.
All right. So Spider-Man Unlimited number 11. Also January 96. The Skull Jackets. Writer Fabian Nicieza, penciler Dave Hoover, inker Joe Rubenstein, colorist Tom Smith and Malibu Color, letterer Ken Lopez, and editor Eric Veen again. Scroll down. Spider-Man is reading the latest edition of the Daily Bugle, which features a cover story about the murder of Andrea Havershaw, a woman from his past. He thinks back to when he was an assistant to sewer trainer in Vermont years ago when he was on the road. In those days, he made extra money tutoring students from the local college. One of these kids was Jason Havershaw, Andrea's son. He got along well with the Havershaws, as Andrea reminded Ben of his Aunt May, and Jason, who lost his father in a plane crash when he was young, reminded him so much of himself.
The parallels.
Deciding that Andrea Havershaw deserves justice, the wall crawler decides to bite the bullet and go to the only person he can get a lead from, Ken Ellis, a reporter at the Daily Bugle. While at the 44th Precinct, Detective Marcella Solanos leaves for lunch, telling the desk sergeant to contact her if the Havershaw lawyer calls. She then goes to a restaurant downtown to meet with Ken Ellis. She owes him a favor after he helped her crack a case and got promoted to detective. As such, she is providing him with information on the Havershaw case, even though she doesn't like it. Still, she hands him over photos from that that security took on the night of the murder that reveals a potential suspect, Felicia Hardy. AKA the Black Cat. However, this is only circumstantial evidence, particularly since the Black Cat had reformed and started her own detective agency. Moreover, the investigation so far has discovered that Andrea Habershaw was actually employing Hardy in her agency at the time of her murder. After this exchange of information, Solanos ends their meeting and goes back to work. Ducking into the bathroom, Ken suddenly feels strange and wonders what happened to him. Later that afternoon, Detective Solanos and her partner, Sean Murphy, are tailing Paul Proust, one of Felicia's employees, to Brighton Beach. They find it suspicious that Proust is going into a bar that is run by the Russian mob. Inside, Proust buys a drink, drawing the attention of some hired muscle who looks to tell him that he doesn't belong there. Getting the message, Paul leaves with the two detectives following after him. While at Cat's Eye headquarters, Felicia Hardy has gotten in touch with Loop, her resident hacker. He has managed to get into the NYPD database to see what the police have on the Habershaw murder. Things aren't looking good for Felicia because the murder weapon has been identified as metallic claws. And meanwhile, she points out, 90s Marvel. I mean, shake a stick, you're going to hit somebody with claws.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah.
Felicia, meanwhile, keeps on rubbing her neck. When Luke brings this up, Hardy dismisses it as a bee sting, even though it's not in season. That's when Paul enters the room with similar pain. When Paul admits that he also started feeling this pain since Saturday morning, Felicia thinks there might be more to these mysterious injuries than a simple unseasonal bee sting. Meanwhile, Spider-Man has arrived outside the church where Andrea's wake is being held. He has decided to say goodbye and ducks into an alley to change into Ben Reilly. Inside, Ben becomes paranoid. Although he has bleached his hair, he is still nervous that someone from New York might recognize him as Peter Parker. However, he is relieved when J. Jonah Jameson shoves past him without even acknowledging him. Satisfied, Ben finds a free seat among the mourners. Soon, Jason Habershaw takes the podium and delivers a heartfelt eulogy for his mother. The whole time, Ben can't help but focus on J. Jonah Jameson and Robbie Robertson, who are sitting not far ahead of him. Hearing Jonah's usual grumbling makes Ben realize how much he misses his old life as Peter Parker. He wishes he could just tell everyone, but he knows that he can't because he has to be Ben Reilly now because of circumstances for Peter's sake. After the service is over, Ben gives Jason his condolences. Jason almost doesn't recognize Ben with his new hairstyle. The pair catch up a bit before Jason has to head to the cemetery, and as he goes, Ben is left wondering why the situation is setting off his spider sense.
Another the different use of the spider sense again, where it's kind of
depends on the writer. Yeah.
It's ting ting tingaloo, ting ting tingaloo.
Later that day, J. Jonah Jameson and Joe Robertson return to the Daily Bugle to check on things. They are joined by Ken Ellis, who tells them that he is still working on a lead in the Habershaw murder, but he has nothing that is worth publishing at the moment. Robertson tells Ken that to get back to work on it. When Ken returns to his desk, he gets a phone call from Spider-Man, who asks to meet him. He is surprised the wall crawlers reached out to contact him, especially after he had been investigating the disappearance of the Scarlet Spider and Spider-Man starting to wear a new costume. When the webhead arrives on the scene, Ken Ellis shares with him the lead that he is going to try and make the front page of the next edition of the Daily Bugle. The revelation that the Black Cat is the prime suspect in the murder investigation. During this encounter, Ellis makes mention to not remembering his encounter with Detective Solanos and the pain in his neck. Deciding that he needs to pay the Black Cat a visit, Spider-Man realizes that this is going to be an uncomfortable encounter since the cat used to have a relationship with Peter Parker and even knew his double identity. It says, although she isn't aware that he has taken over as Spider-Man, Ben figures she'll figure it out pretty quick, although I think she knows.
She does it straight away. Yeah. He almost,
Swinging to the offices of Cat's Eye Investigations, Spider-Man listens outside the window as Paul Proust and Loop discuss their ongoing investigation into the murder of Andrea Havershaw. He overhears that Jason apparently was indebted to a Russian mobster named Valery Kastanov. Kastanov used to be part of a Russian intelligence and dealt with a number of black ops in the Middle East and elsewhere before entering organized crime. That's when the Black Cat comes up behind Spider-Man, setting off his spider sense. When he instinctively dodges out of the way, the cat knows why and asks the wall crawler why he would consider her a threat. Spider-Man explains that it is because she is suspected of murder and tries to convince her to turn herself into the police. The Black Cat points out that Spider-Man must know that she's not guilty of murder, reminding him how he has always been hounded by the police for crimes he did not commit all through his career. She is almost insulted that the wall crawler would think that she would allow herself to be captured on tape if she was responsible for a murder. However, more to the point, she points out that Peter would know that the Black Cat never kills. The fact that Felicia knows that he is not Peter Parker comes as a surprise to Ben. She then points out that if anyone's trust should be up for debate, it should be Ben Reilly's, as she isn't convinced that he has earned the right to wear the webs. She then reminds him that when Peter Parker was Spider-Man, they had a unique bond of trust. She now hopes that Ben can extend that same courtesy now. This whole time, Ben is struggling with how attractive he finds Felicia and tries to keep his mind on task.
Sex on the mind.
He's no Phil Urich, you know.
Oh,
so,
true.
yeah.
Yes.
Sex on the mind. The hard master.
Getting to the point, the Black Cat explains that she was hired by Andrea Havershaw to investigate her son who has been stealing money from her. The investigation uncovered that Jason owed Kastanov a great deal of money in gambling debts, enough to commit murder. Noticing that Felicia seemed to be nursing pain in her neck, remembering what Ellis told him earlier, Spider-Man asks Felicia if she has had a lapse in memory recently that was followed by the pain in her neck. When Spider-Man suggests this might be the work of the Chameleon, the Black Cat reminds him that the Chameleon is imprisoned in Ravencroft. However, the two agree to work together to get to the bottom of this mystery. At the Havershaw home, Jason is quietly celebrating the windfall he has made following his mother's death. This is interrupted by the arrival of Ben Reilly, who asks to talk. Jason would invite Ben in, but there are still traces of his mother's murder and suggests that they go for a walk. Didn't clean up at all.
I know.
It's here that Ben offers his help in trying to learn who murdered his mother. Jason appreciates the offer, but points out that there is not much Reilly can do that the police are already doing and leaves in a cab. Jason then pays a visit to Kastanov, who tells him that if the mobster gives him more time, not only will he be able to pay back the debt he owes, but he will be able to make him even more money than he ever imagined. Leaving the mob hideout, Jason is unaware that he has been followed by Spider-Man and wonders what Jason's ties to the mob are. He also wonders if Jason is capable of murdering his mother. When Jason takes a cab back home, Spider-Man decides to follow him. However, the man who everyone thinks is Jason Havershaw is actually an imposter. He then returns to the Havershaw residence. He goes to the room where he has the real Jason Havershaw locked up. As it turns out, Jason is a drug addict, that this man has been impersonating Jason in order to get access to the family fortune. Changing back to his original shape, this man turns out to be an armored individual calling himself Skull Jacket.
What the holy hell is this monstrosity? Like, let's oh my god. Anyway.
Insert 90s generic villain, Ray. At dawn, Spider-Man meets with the Black Cat on the roof of the Chrysler building to exchange information on the Havershaw case. When telling her about Jason's connection to the Russian mobs, he believes that he murdered his mother in order to inherit her fortune. On top of this, even though the cops have a powerful motive, they are still considering the Black Cat as a suspect. This upsets Felicia, who up until this point was flirty with Spider-Man just to get a rise out of him.
Yeah. Ew.
When she thinks she is still not above suspicion, she tosses Spider-Man a copy of Cat's Eye Investigations files on the murder and abruptly leaves. Looking at the files, Spider-Man discovers that Cat's Eye has been tailing Jason and has photographed him purchasing drugs from the Russian mob. He turns this over to the police, who send Detectives Solanos and Murphy to the Habershaw home. While they are invited in, Spider-Man watches from a distance, also unaware that the Black Cat is also watching from close by. We're back to this era. Someone is watching.
Looking.
Someone watching.
Oh yeah, I remember thinking that when I was reading this. Going, oh, here you go. Where's Kane? He's probably watching all of them. So.
Let's see. Yeah, Black Cat. Inside, Detective Murphy keeps Jason busy while Solano slips away and searches the house. Finding the real Jason Habershaw, Solano orders Murphy to arrest the man in the kitchen. With his cover blown, Skull Jacket drops his holographic disguise and shoots Murphy with a dart that knocks him out and takes out the other officer that came with them. When Solanos tries to shoot Skull Jacket, he sends her fleeing with a barrage of bullets. He then removes the dart from Detective Murphy's neck, which allows him to project a hologram that makes him resemble Murphy. Hearing the shots, Spider-Man comes crashing in, fearing that Jason may have been shot. At first, Spider-Man falls for Skull Jacket's illusion, but his spider sense soon tips him off to the deception. I know, he's like, man, there's like automatic weapons firing, invisible weapons just firing in midair.
Yeah.
Forced to drop his disguise, Skull Jacket gets upset when the wall crawler compares him to the chameleon. As it turns out, Skull Jacket is the product of Russian science that continued to perfect and implement technologies to replace the chameleon after he defected. This gives Spider-Man the edge to take down Skull Jacket and find the real Jason Habershaw. Still, despite the victory, Spider-Man blames himself for what happened to Jason, thinking he could have done more to prevent him from getting into this situation. That's when the Black Cat joins him and points out that he had managed to shut down a Russian mob and a major extortion racket. Despite Skull Jacket's attempts to confuse everyone investigating this crime, it could not account for Spider-Man's strong sense of responsibility. Take a drink, Lilith, to uncover the truth. As they swing away to some nearby buildings, the wall crawler realizes that this is the first time that Felicia has called him Spider-Man the whole time they have been working on this case. The cat explains that this is the first time she feels that he earned the right to the name. Removing his mask, she kisses Ben Reilly on the lips and swings away. Sorry, wrong button. All right, Ray, what did you think?
Gosh, where do I start? First thing, look, some positives, I guess. I didn't mind the art. I thought the art was great. I think the art excelled with the interactions of Spider-Man. I'll call him, might as well call him Spider-Man and Black Cat. Black Cat Felicia looked like she came straight out of a Zenoscope comic. I mean, every panel of her. So that was good. And I think the most interesting part of this whole story was that interaction between the two. I found that the most engaging. Unfortunately, and look, I love Fabian Nicieza and his stories, Deadpool, New Warriors, that sort of thing. But I'm afraid this is a little bit of a mess for me. There are just too many uninteresting side characters who end up actually being the focal characters of the story. Like, I would love, like, when I pick up a Spider-Man comic, I'd love to see Spider-Man in it and doing his action bits and reading in on his life. And this is no slight on Punisher comics, but this might be better suited in a Punisher comic, you know what I mean, where you have a lot of these street level characters. I mean, even the detectives were uninteresting. The Russian was uninteresting. The Black Cat's Eye sidekicks were uninteresting. Havishaw was uninteresting. All that sort of stuff. But I think that sort of stuff works with the Punisher comic because it's very grounded, obviously, and you have this menacing force like Frank coming, and then it kind of more often than not ends with him creating a huge bloodbath of violence, and so you kind of enjoy that thing. With over here, it was still very tame, but you just get all these side characters that I don't. There was too much in it. Then maybe Fabian wanted to fill out the story because it was a supersize, but it's just too overwritten, I think.
Yeah, too many characters,
Too
reporters,
many,
cops. Yeah,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
and then Skull Jacket. I mean, the powers.
Oh,
Not only was the darts, not only were the darts like holographic technology, but didn't it say like it gave him like their short-term memories or something?
oh, yeah, and all those, the whole thing with about the bee sting in the back of the neck. Well done, well played, Fabian. There's a little bit of a mystery there, but it's even that was just like, so what? Like. Unfortunately, I sound very harsh, but it was just I found this a real struggle to read. Actually, the first two issues were great because they were so, as I mentioned, so compact and they flowed pretty well. There's just too much detail and yeah, I don't say that being a Philistine and just wanting, simple stories, but it's just, there's just too much for it as well, especially for what you kind of come to expect for a Spider-Man comic. So maybe kudos to them for trying something, for Fabian for trying something different and having a bit more of a street level. But yeah, just a bit misfire for me.
I mean, yeah, he tried to combine the Ben faces a new villain that none of the Spider-Man have faced before. Plus, you get that I'm working with someone who knew Peter intimately.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, I mean, that was the most exciting bit out of the whole lot. Like, whenever she came on there to talk to him, and that was the thing. Like, she has that relationship with Peter before. Like, so how will she take Ben? And I think it was pretty cool towards the end how she kind of honors him by calling him Spider-Man and gives him a kiss. As you all do, like so I'm sure he was very happy with that. But this was pretty pretty. I would get. Have you got all these issues, Phil?
Yeah, I have all these. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting the first two. I'd probably pass on this one. It was just really a struggle. Maybe I'll try to read it again. Maybe it will shed new things when I reread it. But yeah.
I don't know.
There's a backup story as well.
Yeah, it's like it's back when Peter was still Spider-Man. Yeah, did you want to get into that?
Yeah, it's pretty short, but I actually found it pretty enjoyable too.
Oh yeah. Here I'll give you the quick synopsis of that.
Mhm.
At a rundown apartment, a man named Joe gets ready for a late night shift, telling his wife that it will be a short one. At the same time, Peter Parker is changing into his Spider-Man costume in order to go out on patrol. He tells his wife Mary Jane that he is only going out on a short patrol in order to get some pictures for the Daily Bugle in order to earn them some much-needed money. At that same time, Joe insists to his wife that his job earns them much-needed money to support their family, which includes their infant son. He assures her that this time he is not going to hurt anybody. As both men prepare to leave their homes, they both tell their wives not to wait up for them. Joe soon joins a group of men who are transporting stolen goods. The boss overseeing this operation is unhappy that Joe is late, but he doesn't expect any interruptions and the police have been paid off. However, the situation quickly changes when Spider-Man arrives on the scene and quickly rounds up the thieves. The last person that gets webbed up by the wall crawler is Joe, who begs Spider-Man to let him go, telling him that he has a wife and kid at home. Hearing this doesn't elicit much sympathy from the wall crawler, who tells Joe that he should have thought about that before he went out that evening. With the police arriving on the scene, Spider-Man heads for home. His return wakes up Mary Jane, who asks him if J. Jonah Jameson will be happy with his pictures tomorrow. Peter reminds her that Jameson is never impressed with anything he brings in. Noticing how exhausted Peter looks, Mary Jane asks him if he wants to talk about what happened this evening. Peter crawls into bed with his wife and tells her not to worry about it, insisting that it is nothing to lose sleep over. As he tells her this, Joe's wife wakes up and notices that he is not home. Looking at the clock, she notices how late it is and begins to worry. She then picks up her child out of his crib and begins cradling the boy, assuring him that his father will be home soon. However, she begins to cry as the truth of the situation begins to sink in. So I don't know if this was the first time you read this. I read this, when it first came out in '96. This hit me different than when the first time I read it in my teenage years.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah. How did it make you feel the first time, and how did it make you feel on this reread?
The first time, as a teenager, I was just like, yeah, he got what he deserved. Yeah, he should have been on crime. But now as a father, married husband and father, I'm just like,
yeah,
man, that's dark.
Yeah, it is dark, isn't it? Like, it's so funny that you mentioned about the different perspectives, I guess, and you and I both being fathers as well. Just with family, I found this, like, it's a short story, but it was really dark and kind of like, it made me think about it a little bit after I put the book down. You know what I mean? Because there's so many. I love this, and there's so many parallels between Joe and Peter Parker. He's doing it because he's got to make the extra cash, and Peter's, he's got to take the pictures and stuff. He needs the extra cash as well. That sort of thing about him not really being. He doesn't seem like a malicious or really an evil person. He's doing it out of necessity, similar to, like, you can argue like the Sandman, but Spider-Man's just quite clinical with it, and it was pretty sad at the end, I thought. I mean, at this stage as well, he's got a kid, and it's not like Mary Jane and Peter at this stage have. So, I just found it very a lot better than the first story.
Again, it was like a good story, but I wonder if it was just something that they had sitting around because it's Peter Spider-Man. So I wonder if they just like threw it in the back, like, we need a backup.
I think so. Yeah, it was probably like and for what it wanted to do, it would make like 20 or 32 pages. So it was just going to be, I think, a 50 idea. That, who was it that someone had? That Adam Santangelo had. I think maybe the editor, Eric Fine or Bob Budiansky, said, "Yep, chuck it in." But yes, I'm certainly glad that they did, because it's a very, very cool little story.
I love that. I love those. Just those couple of pages impressed you more than that whole Skull Jacket story.
Oh, Skull Jacket. Oh man, like, I mean, you're right. Like, 90s generic, really quickly cobbled together character. Skull. I mean, why is he even called Skull Jacket? Do we know? I mean, he should be called like Hologram Boy or something, or whatever. Like, because he's got like a nifty power, like a nifty. The technology can kind of shape shift.
I wonder if the problem too is Nicieza wasn't one of the regular Spider-Man writers, so he did it's like, don't mess with what the four other guys on the Spider-Man books are doing. So it's like he just decided to create something original, like a new villain.
And that makes sense. And the whole story basically has no. I mean, it uses Ellis, but other than that, very lightly uses J. Jonah Jameson and Robbie Robertson. But that makes sense, I think. Just another standalone story. But you can make standalone stories and make them good. Like, I'd say out of the three, I probably enjoyed the Howard Mackie one. Is that the first one? Yeah, the first one. The Poison. Yeah, I enjoyed that the most, I think. You can make a story standalone and it not be overcrowded. So yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think I could agree with you. I think that was the best one this week.
Yeah.
And, I know you'll be shocked, but this was Skull Jacket's only appearance.
Oh, such a pity.
I know.
knocked out for good. Well, yeah, I'm glad DK got at least another appearance. And open writers, open for another one if you can. I don't know what happened to. Do you know what happened to Poison? You mentioned you only saw her incidentally in the Web of Spider-Man annual. I don't know. I'm assuming she might pop up again. She's in
I'm trying to remember.
Lilith's part of the woods, isn't she? Florida.
Yeah, that's where the original story was because also it was dealing with drug dealers. So I don't know if you know the Slug.
Yeah, the slug, the big dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in that story. Yeah,
Okay.
he's big on that Web of Spider-Man annual cover. The Slug.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's good that we're going through all this, the good and the bad. But yeah, it's just that I just found it so sorry to say, Phil, but it was such a chore to read that third one.
I know.
It was.
Well, it was longer too. If that had been
It was longer.
size issue, it might not have been as bad.
Yeah, exactly. If it was normal size, it may have just been like seen as middle of the road or average, but it just kept on dragging on. It's like,
I think Fabian was like maybe trying to fill some space. So yeah, some of that like he dragged.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, and like I said, I love a lot of the stuff that he's done. He's a great writer, but even the best have bad days. So.
Oh yeah. Oh look, did you see Russell commented on DK? Donkey Kong sounds like a very Man Thing ripoff.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There've been a few in Marvel as well. What was it? I was reading an early Hulk comics, and there was I can't remember his name, Glob or something. Yeah. Very similar as well as the Man Thing. So they had a few swampy man thingy sort of creatures in Marvel. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, but.
Oh, stay tuned, kids. You're going to be getting some Man Thing in March. So.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Don't know how to take that, but
per Lil Hellfire. Hey, it's all for Lil Hellfire. Getting a bunch of Man Thing March. So. All right, Ray. Anything else on these or?
I don't know. It's pretty hard to rate, right? Because they're not part of an arc or anything. They're all three distinct. Yeah, I don't know. I'll quick fire. I'll give first one B, the other one maybe a B minus, and the third one probably a C minus. And that backup story though, I'd give a B plus, maybe. Oh, B, maybe a B. Yeah.
Not to just be a yes man, but yeah, I think I agree with all the those. Yeah.
I think we're on the same wavelength. Yeah.
Most of these were B caliber except for that one. That skull jacket.
I rarely do it, but I put it below the average, unfortunately. Just
Thank God. I wonder what. Can you imagine Lilith would have tore that thing to shreds?
Oh yeah. I'm sure. How far do you guys go with the is it like G and H?
But if we're going by the American school system, though, it goes to F. It just goes to F.
So. F is the F minus, double minus, triple minus.
All right. So yes. All right. So. Yeah, we did this early this month, kids, because next week, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you'll get your Spider-Man No Way Home review.
Exciting.
So, me and Lilith and probably a bunch of our friends are going to be there. I think Charlie might show up. Ray, you're invited if you want to show up.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'll probably be a group effort. And then the last episode of the year will be the Thwippies.
Oh.
I almost said to Lilith, I'm like, come on, should we just like dress up and do like an actual like award show? She's like, no.
Do it. Well, I'll be voting for Spider-Man Unlimited number 11. You can guarantee that.
I know, but I'm sorry. It's only this stuff from 2021, Ray.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right. And then next month, because that movie will be coming out, me and Lilith are going to cover some Morbius stuff.
Oh yeah, love it. Hey, what did you think of the latest Morbius trailer? Or
it looks interesting. I mean, they could go either way, I think, but I want to see what they do with this.
Yeah, I'm personally, I'm looking forward to it. It just seems to be looking better than the last the first trailer or teaser that they did, and then we're getting a more accurate Morbius, and
Yeah.
it looks dark. He looks, I mean, his powers just kick ass. I just can't wait to see him. Like, he's, you know, kind of unstoppable. It seems so. Yeah, no, it looks. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, because all right, next month, first episode of the year, Lilith and I will be covering Marvel Team Up 3 and 4, followed in the next week by Spectacular Spider-Man 6 through 8, and week 3, Spectacular Spider-Man 38, and then come back at the end of January, kids. Ray will be back. Hopefully, we'll have Matt back by then. Where we go next with Ben Reilly? Well, 2 miniseries, kids.
Yes.
First, Venom, Along Came a Spider. So
Oh.
Eddie and Ben meet up again. And also Spider-Man Punisher Family Plot 1 and 2. Remember the era when Punisher was running a mafia family, kids? Yeah.
That sounds so cool. Yeah.
Ponytail Frank, yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
it's the 90s.
we've had Ponytail Peter. We've had Ponytail a lot of people. So I guess Frank has to have his due.
I mean, it's the 90s. Superman had long hair. Come on.
Yeah, that's it. If it wasn't a ponytail, it was a mullet. So
yeah, but when he was Clark Kent, he did put it in a ponytail.
Oh, he did as well. Oh gosh.
Yes. You know, disguise, you know.
Yeah, of course.
All right, kids. So, yeah, send your thoughts on all that. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember to follow Ultimate Spider-Cast on Facebook, on Twitter. Go join the Web of Spider-Man, our Facebook fan group, now at 2.7 thousand members.
Holy moly. That's growing every day. Jeez.
Thank you, No Way Home. Oh, please, your group is once Moon Knight hits the Disney Plus. Come on.
Oh yeah. Hopefully that will kind of generate some buzz.
Yeah. Okay, Skull Jacket. But no, yeah, that's it. I think after they started dropping trailers and stuff for No Way Home, yeah, that's when the growth really happens. I'm thinking Moon Knight's going to help you guys.
Yeah.
Russell says, Ray, go to bed. Whoever this is, Ray, go to bed. He's going to. Can't find it.
I will. Don't worry. Thank you, Jack.
I love how I just got up and Ray's going to bed. All right, so yes. So go join that. Go find the link for all the social medias for all of our various shows. Capes and Lunatics for Marvel, Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks is all the DC stuff. Prepare yourself. Yeah, something new coming on the Sidekick side in 2022.
Ooh, I think I know what that is, and I'm
that.
privy.
Well, Lilith and I are plotting that out. So, cool. So find links to everything. Stay in the know. Links to this YouTube channel. If you ever want to know what Ray looked like, he has no muck monster, ladies. Let me tell you that. So find links.
More like El Toro Negro.
That's his porn name, kids. Yes, links to the YouTube channel. Most important, links to the Patreon. Yes, we have no. This is no great game. We have no sponsors anymore. So yes, any little bit, any contribution can help. Thank you to Ray himself and Justin, our patrons. Or if you want to pick up some merch, we have Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch. So find the link to that. Link to everything I just mentioned at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All right, Ray. We mentioned the Moon Knight. We mentioned Superman. Where can people find your podcast?
Oh, look, the easiest way is to just go to the source, baby. Check out me on Twitter at ReyRey Pod, ReyRey Pod, and from there are links to all the shows like Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast, Last Sun's Krypton, a Superman podcast. To Know Her is to Fear Her with the great co-host Sharon there. And also, finally, I mean, of course, you're listening right now to the Scarlet Spider. So, I banter and chat about all four of those shows under ReyRey Pod on Twitter. So go check that out. Otherwise, our official Moon Knight website is itkmoonnight.com. Check it out.
Exciting times to be a pimp. It's a lot of meat.
Look, we're all pimps here, Phil. Remember?
That's right. That's right. That's what I said.
Exciting times to be a pimp.
Yeah. Because I don't see the P word on your label, your name.
Oh, I'll have to change that. Yeah, I can't have it every episode. I got to do it during these Scarlet Spiders.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah. We'll get Matt on it as well.
Oh, true. Yes. Yeah. Hopefully January we'll see the return of Mr. Matt Kona. But I can't pimp every episode. That would look weird on, like, say, the Green Lantern podcast.
What is that?
Jordan.
He loves Hal Jordan.
Oh, yes.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day.
Yeah, Will's got a few of these new ones.
Oh, yeah.
I blew that.
I think that's my favorite one.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day.
But yeah, we miss. Oh, plus we miss our Scarlet Pimp, Matt Kona.
It's a bit of a heel turn.
Yes, we miss you, Matt. What was that one?
It's a bit of a heel turn.
It's a bit of a heel turn. Yeah, that's a
wrestling term. Yes.
Yeah.
The yin to Darkhawk's yang.
Pocket knives. You got to throw in some Darkhawk.
Oh yeah.
All right, kids. Thank you for joining us again. Next week is Spider-Man No Way Home review, followed by the Flippies. And you're getting all that Morbius in January. Maybe we'll mention the movie during our review. All right. But until then, swing on back.
Whoop,